Spiritual loneliness is a feeling, a deep grievance that one may continuously feel in their life when they are somebody who walks a path in deep honor of the purest vision that Source holds for us on earth. One may experience that the family that they grow up in feels dissonant to their core vibration. One may experience that the people who they are surrounded with throughout their lifetime feel dissonant to their core vibration. And even the spiritual waves, communities, unfoldments seem to feel dissonant in their core vibration. As someone who is in a deep honor of the purest essence of Source, I am saying this to awaken something deep within you, that Source is inspiring in you, moving naturally to create through you the purest vision of the heart of Source. When you are so pure in your core vibration and nothing can pull you astray from the path that Source is meant to create through your being, then you are deeply immune to all the conditioning and programming that this world provides. You may feel a deep confusion in your core of why you feel so out of place in this world. From the perspective of Source, that is because you carry the purest frequency in you. And as the world has been built on anything other than pure, our society as it is right now, full of manipulative energies, you do not resonate with that. And when you do not know this about yourself, when you are yet to embody the deepest truth within you, you may feel so deeply confused, so deeply lonely. You do not understand why even the spiritual flow that we witness and experience in life doesn't seem to resonate. And my dear Source Mate, that is because you are immune to that. You feel in your deepest being that this flow of spirituality is greatly influenced by impurity, the way that it is being embodied by many across the globe through impure intentions, in ways that integrity is easily lost, in ways where it is embodied from a need of survival, a need to provide oneself with the necessary resources in order to provide. The largest part of the spiritual community that we see that is separate from religious ways is influenced by impurity. And as there is such a density to that, such a heaviness that seems convincing to many, innocent souls, pure souls, do not know where to turn towards in order to feel into their truth. For the ways of spirituality, the ways that many embody it, feel illusory, feel manipulative, feel impure. And therefore, this feeling of spiritual loneliness is Source protecting you, Source communicating to you that you are here to walk a path unknown. This resonates with a being who has the inherent capacity to hold this state of being and has the honest willingness in their heart to surrender to this flow of purity, this flow that is unknown, this flow that always remains unidentified, and therefore you feel lonely amongst all the identifications that linger around the world. As one who truly honors their purity, honors their integrity, allows nothing to sway them from that. You know how sacred the vision of purity coming from the heart of Source truly is. You feel the grievance, the pain, the frustration of how life indirectly and sometimes directly treats you with such an immense amount of impurity. You may even experience, aside from people who are not embodied or honoring a spiritual essence, that even those who walk a seemingly spiritual path ridicule you, belittle you, try to tell you that you are something which you in your core truly are not. I would like to enlighten this feeling in you where you know that most of what we see is illusory and manipulative. You know that most of spiritual communities thrive because they are focused on survival, focused on receiving money. Most integrity is lost because money is involved. And that is not to say that one who walks a spiritual path is not worthy and deserving of the resources necessary in order to live, in order to fulfill this destiny of Source. For it is the truth in the purest vision of Source that every living being to come into existence is inherently worthy and deserving of the resources necessary to live comfortably, to realize this purest destiny of Source. For we cannot do that when we are surviving. And most of the spiritual wave that is unfolding is stuck in survival. It is unconscious. It is heavily influenced by universal influences that are impure. For impurity is not only present on earth, it is present within the entirety of the universe and beyond that. And we are shifting into a rhythm that moves with purity, that leads with the vision of purity as Source sees it. For we have embodied, embraced, and surrendered into living in a reality built on such impurity for such a long time. That we are hanging on the edge of this duality, bound to naturally fall in love, in union, integrate more of the purity. And I understand how suffocating it can feel to walk this destined path of Source, to live amongst people who truly cannot see it in you, who ridicule you. For I have also experienced the ridiculing and the belittling. One of my experiences is that I have been deeply used by someone who was running a spiritual business, and at the time that this happened, this was in a group setting with a person that I met a few times. And from the first time that I met that person, I felt that they were energetically threatening me and challenging me. And at one point, they completely used my vulnerable state, my purity, in which I always allow myself the openness and transparency that Source needs from me in order to move into this world effortlessly. This person used this state of being to make a show for themselves, to show the others that were present in that moment how good of a spiritual person they were. And they completely mistreated me. They deeply crossed my boundaries. And what especially crossed my boundary in that moment was that after they had done their act and they had kissed their own ego, a fly. After they had done all that, they had the audacity to tell me that they loved me. And I felt it was so impure, so inauthentic, as all the experience that I have had with everyone that I have met have been so inauthentic. And I have given the entirety of my being in all of those situations. And the other could never see it in me. For the love that Source emanates from you, this pure, unconditional love that many are yet to know, in the moment that you express that towards them, they cannot receive that. For their love is conditional. It is programmed to receive only love that is conditional, and that is what feels comfortable to them. And when you love them with such an immense intensity, purity, boundlessness, from the depth of your being, they reject you. And those who hold a certain role, where they seem to be in power, where they are also making money from it, benefiting from your exploitment, your ridiculing, that needs to stop. For these people who are actually very unconscious and yet portray themselves as conscious, as spiritual, as someone who honors Source, they are so busy providing for themselves, identifying themselves, strengthening the resonance of their ego, They cannot stop to feel into the deep, immense suffering present on earth that you do. That you feel so deeply, intrinsically wired throughout your every particle, that you sometimes don't know how to function anymore. You're just suffocated. And as there is such an imbalance in the power dynamic in this world, those who abuse and manipulate with power disempower those who walk a deep and destined path of Source to create life from the purest state. And what I mean when I say that the majority of spiritual influence, what we see on social media, what we see being so overly sensationalized, completely in dishonor of the pure essence of Source, that is influenced by darkness that does not want to see Source's purest vision flourish so effortlessly as it is meant to. Some people refer to this energy as a devil. I simply see it as an energetic wave of impurity, which is unidentified. And as I see that in that way, as I know that I have come to speak from an unknown place, I have experienced how, when I started to truly express from the purest place in me, how I received the rejection from others, how I received the misinterpretation of others, where they saw me as part of this new age wave, when I so deeply see myself as being completely free from that. For I never want to identify myself. I want to remain in the unknown frequency of Source, so that I can speak this into existence and bring power to all these souls who are so immensely pure and present here to walk this destined path of Source. Do not let anyone tell you what you are. Only you can feel that. For when people were commenting on my videos that others should watch out for me, that felt so dissonant and dishonoring to me. It is the same energy moving through them that doesn't want to experience Source in its purest form. And that is the simple truth of that. Regardless of what spiritual beliefs we may or may not have, spiritual essence is one that we feel into. We cannot interpret that by looking at someone and thinking that they are something just based on what they are saying, how they look. Based from our belief system, we cannot receive truth. And someone who looks at me, who looks at someone who is so pure, can say that they cannot feel anything. They are most likely out of touch with the entirety of their being, with their true, authentic path of their soul even. And that is why I am here, constantly expressing, strengthening the resonance of the frequency of Source by saying that this is something that we feel into, that we can experience when we truly allow our body to evolve naturally in the way that it is meant to. For where there is spiritual darkness within the spirituality that is separate from religion. Within religion there are dark influences as well. And these are embodied by people who do not allow Source to be integrated, who do not allow the sacred, pure evolution of humanity to happen for us. It will always try to manipulate. And that is all that I want to say about death. For I truly only want to focus, strengthen this pure resonance of Source. However, it is necessary to be aware of a part of this. What is causing this? What is causing you to feel so disempowered? To feel like you are suffering so deeply lonely? So unable to function even. You don't know what to do. You do not feel resonant with surviving in society. You do not feel resonant with surviving through a spiritual identity. There is so much more to Source than that. And Source wants to naturally breathe that into existence for us. And I hold so much hope in my heart, so much compassion in my heart for every being to fall into a deep state of love in union. A union that we can feel, connect to when we release our belief systems. When we release the ways of the mind. For our energy is not wired, is not meant to believe anything. It is meant to be. It is meant to flow each and every moment. It is new, it is reborn. So my dear Source mate, if you experience this in your life, if you experience the confusion, the belittling, not knowing where to go, not knowing what to do, not knowing how your life will align with this destiny that Source has already created in you, in your heart. Can I invite you into this feeling of gratitude that you are immune to the impurity. You are immune to it. You do not sway. You are deeply grounded. Grounded all throughout the earth. So grounded. Let us create what we come to create. Let us hold space, fill this space with love for each and every one. For it is not a judgment that we place upon others. It is a neutral observation that we need to see the way that it is, to look at others and see what they are doing from a neutral place within, in order to understand our essence better. And when we understand this essence better, can we then love those that hurt us, love those that judge us, love those that cannot see in us what we feel within. For Source loves unconditionally. Pure love loves regardless of whether it is accepted or rejected. As human beings, we feel so much pain in rejection, and I am there with you, truly, truly. There is so much pain in my being. There is so much pain. I choose love. I choose to love those people that demonized me. I love it. I love them. I love Source into them. For if we remain stuck as a collective in our thinking, in this system that doesn't work for us anymore, when we can naturally allow that to unfold for us, when we can sink into a deeper depth of feeling, where we truly allow Source to lead, regardless of whether we trust it or not, Source trusts you. And whether someone is embodying the purity of Source or dishonoring it, Source has chosen them to experience itself. And Source wants for them purity and unconditional love as well. And for as long as we remain within the belief system, we can continue into eternity to talk about God, about what is Source. We can fight with each other about that. We can demonize each other about what it is, what the other person is doing wrong. Can we please see that every person is trying? Can we please see that we are not our belief system? Our purest essence is so deep, so unidentifiable, so unrecognizable even by your own eyes. You do not know what you can be when you truly allow yourself to merge in union with the purest intention, vision, being of Source. My experiences have been the inspiration to create this community. For I see a collective of Source mates, pure individuals, destined hearts. And every moment that someone tried to take away my essence inspired it even more. For it made me feel strongly that those are not my people. And even though I love them still, those are not the people who want to receive me. And I know that there are others who want to receive me as much as I dream about receiving you, being in union with you, creating together. For we need each other. And what I see right now globally, so many souls who do not know how to embody Source's vision. I see us, many individuals, being separated from one another. And that is why I wanted to create this community. For one day I hope that it grows to a point where you meet destined connections from across the world. I would love to be able to bridge you towards others who want to care about you, who want to empower you, who believe in Source, who feel Source, who can see that in you as well. I know it can feel dense when we first try to embody and take the first steps. I'm aware of how uncomfortable it can feel. I'm there with you. I pray that we may unite, join forces, build something together that will emanate Source's love for the entirety of humanity, emanating that frequency deep into the universe, deep beyond the universe. For each individual carries a different perspective of this pure essence of Source. And each individual therefore carries different abilities. And when we are able to connect that with one another, can we create wholeness, unity. And right now, we have not even started that yet. Right now, it feels a bit much to completely feel into the end stage of what this reality may look and feel like on earth, the purest reality. Therefore, we start by feeling into Source, strengthening that resonance from within, allowing our being to open, to start emanating that frequency and following each and every tiny step that Source is inspiring within us. That is all that I have to express in this moment. I feel pretty tired now, as this is something that I have withheld for a long time. And something that you may recognize is that you do not want to speak in a way that seems to dishonor or belittle others. And that is why I said we just need this neutral observation of what others are doing, of what is happening. And I understand how it can feel. I understand that you only want to love others. But truly, when the impurity of the world has hurt you, has dented you, you need some sort of outward movement in order to heal that, to flow through that, through the dent. And so, thank you for being here. Thank you for honoring Source, for creating space for new awareness. Thank you.